I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but there's a notion out there that like some of our social media platforms through our phone, and I turned my phone off, but your camera's watching your face. And some of the social media platforms say, the rumors out there, they're actually watching where your eyes are at on the screen. I can tell you right now that these platforms are tracking when you're scrolling, what's the kind of ad or what's the kind of content that you scroll through really fast, and what makes you stop and look. Even if you don't click on it, they look at what makes you stop and look and spend time or reading something. Now, this is important data, and definitely, Facebook told us about photos, and then TikTok told us about videos and the importance of those. But the social media platforms have said, look, we know what kind of photos get engagement, and it is birthday parties, babies, puppies, anniversaries and weddings. These get the most comments. They get the most, certainly the stop the scroll. People will pause and look at the whole picture, read the content, read the captions, even if they don't like it or comment. This is data that the social media platforms are analyzing, and they're selling that data. So they're not talking, people are not stopping to scroll for an empty photo with just a garage door. They're not stopping to scroll for, here's a picture of an HVAC or a heating unit. But here's our latest and greatest tankless water heater. That doesn't stop the scroll. What stops the scroll is an engaging character. And that really needs to look local.
Please welcome America's service sales coach, Joe Crisara.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast, the show that helps home service professionals master high-value sales, build stronger client relationships, and grow their business like never before. Join industry experts as they share real strategies that drive results. If you're ready to level up your service game, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
It's the Service MVP Podcast.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast. My name is Joe Crisara, and today we have a very special guest to help boost your sales and revenue. His name is Robb Leishman from Legit5 Marketing. Robb is a good friend. I met him at Vertical Track in the garage door industry with Tommy Mello. He's highly associated with the garage door industry. Robb, welcome to our show today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much, Joe. Thanks for having me on here. This is great, and I do appreciate the friendship, because you're a friend of my show, and I'm a big fan of the Service MVP show.
Well, one of the easiest things I ever did was fall in love with the approach you have, Robb, which is I call authentic marketing. So today's subject is called authentic marketing, and I think you could say authentic sales too. Just being authentic in the world of AI with fake images, fake voices, fake people answering the phone. I think the farther we move away from the people, the farther we move away from our service, I think. Robb, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of the new things, or kind of back to the future here about just trying to make creating an authentic approach. Tell me about some of the pitfalls that contractors can run into today, and then some of the things that you've seen that succeed.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Well, Tommy, you mentioned Tommy a minute ago. Tommy's been putting out quite a bit of content lately about shiny object syndrome. And we see this all the time. Entrepreneurs are always excited to try new things and what's the latest and greatest. And we get really distracted with shiny objects. Right now, AI is the thing, right? AI is everywhere, and AI is wonderful. It's going to make our life so much easier, and just shorten the learning curve on a lot of things, and shorten the time between starting a project and finishing it. I think the current landscape of AI and some other things, we're still seeing that it's artificial. We still can tell when we look at an AI generated image or video. We know we have that uncanny valley where we can see that this is AI, this isn't the real deal. And that's fine. It's still helping us with our businesses. And I use AI. I use AI and I optimize my customers' pages for AI content and get those recommendations. However, we're sure seeing a lot of people are excited that AI can be their video and their Facebook ad. People are using it to answer their phone, and people can tell. People can tell. Um, and it's not a positive thing. I mean, most of us listening would rather not talk to a robot. And we see that. We talked about that. So right now in 2025, let's use AI to the best of our advantage. But really, honestly, people want to have a genuine experience. The consumer is going to invite you into their home, and they need to have trust and who they're talking to, who they're inviting into their home. So that's kind of where I'm going with this.
Yeah, it's funny because we purchased a couple services for our home here in California, and I could have had different contractors that I could have chosen who I could have had them drive from 90 miles away, or even people like 50 miles away, or But one of the things that was like really important to me is like who works in this neighborhood normally, because these homes are a little different that I own. But who's the one who does the best with these homes? And I wound up hiring somebody that was brand new that I didn't know because he was an expert at the kind of systems that we had in this home when it came to the heating and air conditioning. And the garage door thing, we did have a problem with the garage door too, and I couldn't find somebody like that. It seemed like it was very generic. I couldn't tell who I was hiring before I hired him. So tell me a little bit about that, especially in the garage door trade, where you may only call one garage door guy for your entire life. You're not going to call every year to get your garage door maintained or whatever. Something like this is something that you use it so rarely. How important is it, especially when the service is not being used all the time? How important is that factor of the authenticity of the marketing approach when people don't use it every year, let's say?
Right. Right. And you're right there. Our goal is to have a customer for life. Our goal is to provide such a world-class experience that they would never think about calling anyone else. But to stay we got to stay top of mind with that customer, right? And so when we come over for that maintenance, for that spring repair, or if we're doing an HVAC tune-up, something like that, we need to make sure that these people have a memorable experience so that they will go to look for your sticker on the wall and not go to their Google and do a search.
Hmm.
And so how do we do that when especially in garage doors, we might only get that call once every 3 or 4 years. How do we stay in top of mind? Well, certainly our reviews, right? And this goes back just a minute ago to the bells and whistles that we see out there, the distractive shiny object syndrome. People, you don't have enough leads because of AI. You don't have enough calls coming in because of some magic photo that's on your website. We don't have
Hmm.
enough calls because of that authenticity, and that is our reviews, and our reviews have to be everywhere. We have to get Google reviews. We have to have Facebook reviews, Angie, Home Advisor, Yelp. I know that sometimes we get frustrated by those various platforms, but they are high authority sites that we need to have reviews on.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if we'll focus on that, and they're all 5-star reviews from real customers or real relationships we have. Well, man, now we're genuine. Now we're the real deal. Someone goes to either search for us or search for our service or search for us, and they see those reviews. This is that genuine connection. And in 2025, that's the review, or I'm sorry, that's the referral system. It's just like
Good.
Mrs. Jones might be willing to tell her sister to use you. That's fine. That's a referral. But when Mrs. Jones is willing to get on Google and tell the world how great her experience is, man, that's money.
When you're looking at a garage door company that says, or even any company, if you looked at it, because I'm sure that people like me, I'm a professional when it comes to the in-home experience, and I can see like as soon as I hear a customer, like, man, these people they've had bad service from somebody. I can tell already what they're telling me. But it takes me like 5 seconds almost to see it. How does the process start with you, and when you evaluate a client? Can you take us through the journey of the garage door contractor after you've had a request for service, and what are some of the blind spots you see, or some of the things that you're looking at that kind of flash into your mind when you see like, oh man, they need help with the review? Like the reviews is one, obviously, but where do you give a review? Is there any place here to do that? So I mean, tell me a little bit about the kind of a list, if you will, or the journey that somebody you're thinking about as you're looking at their website or their marketing material and things like that. Tell me, can you give us a little bit of a tour of that? Like take us through the journey of what that looks like?
Right on. Right on. So when someone reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I need some help. I need some leads. I need some, marketing." I do go. I do run to their website. I do try and analyze their digital presence for that, right? For that genuine connection. And
Hmm.
so many times I see a website with just stock photos, free photos. I see content that's been copied and pasted from somebody else's website. Um, and there's a couple of things there. When someone's searching for a local service, they do they do want to see local faces. They want to see your truck that they see in the grocery store parking lot, or that they see on the road. They
Hmm.
want to see the face of that they would see down at the ballpark, the little league games. This is what people are looking for because of there's probably a lot of factors, but I'm looking for that organic connection through the website, because in the digital age, we have to do everything we can to connect without a phone call, without our voice, without our being in front of them. We've got to give people something to connect to. Otherwise, they bounce. If they come to a website and there's no people, there's no faces, there's just pictures of garage doors or pictures of a condenser unit outside or a water heater. They know this is just sort of generic. And
Mm.
and today people are getting wise to kind of some scam companies that are not the real deal. So people will bounce. That's bounce rate, right? When they come to a website and they'll look around for about 9 seconds. That's our attention span. Look around for about 9 seconds. If we don't see something to engage us, we bounce and we go click on the next link. So we look for the ability or relatability factors on a website.
So let's
But
just
then
stop right
people,
there, because one of the things I believe in is people are more important than things. Like if you sell garage doors, there is obviously you want to be able to represent that you're at the right place. This is a garage door company, garage door repair company, or garage door installation company. But there's the people element of it, which I just actually pulled up while you we were talking there. Just a search of my area here in Playa Vista, California, and I probably had a list of 20 people came up. I just hit the websites for each one of them, and zero of them had people represented. Like, who's answering the phone, or what's the owner's story, or there's nothing there on that at all. Is that kind of what you're talking about? That
that's
the
yeah.
thing like my garage, and then of course they show some estate that's so beautiful. Like my house isn't like that, so it's like in a way you're kind of representing some house that most people don't even own. The house as nice as the one they usually put on a garage door, website in a way, right? But
Yeah.
then there's the people kind of bring that back down to earth. Like, here's the kind of doors we work on, but here's the kind of people that you're going to get in that part of it. So would you say that the people still favor that? I wonder if there's any statistics on when people see it, that the eyeball is drawn to the person rather than to the garage door. I wonder what that would look like if we did a study on something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, it would have to be. It would have to be an improvement. HubSpot's done some studies along those lines. Some other places have done studies along those lines. Um, and then
I want everybody to come to the next Total Immersion, the life-changing event where you increase your sales and your personal growth. What should we do?
I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but there's a notion out there that like some of our social media platforms through our phone, and I turned my phone off, but your camera's watching your face. And some of the social media platforms say, the rumors out there, they're actually watching where your eyes are at on the screen. I can tell you right now that these platforms are tracking when you're scrolling, what's the kind of ad or what's the kind of content that you scroll through really fast, and what makes you stop and look. Even if you don't click on it, they look at what makes you stop and look and spend time or reading something. Now, this is important data, and definitely, Facebook told us about photos, and then TikTok told us about videos and the importance of those. But the social media platforms have said, look, we know what kind of photos get engagement, and it is birthday parties, babies, puppies, anniversaries and weddings. These get the most comments. They get the most, certainly the stop the scroll. People will pause and look at the whole picture, read the content, read the captions, even if they don't like it or comment. This is data that the social media platforms are analyzing, and they're selling that data. So they're not talking, people are not stopping to scroll for an empty photo with just a garage door. They're not stopping to scroll for, here's a picture of an HVAC or a heating unit. But here's our latest and greatest tankless water heater. People that doesn't stop the scroll. What stops the scroll is an engaging character. And that really needs to look local. It does.
Yeah, I guess when you look at some of the stuff, then branding, even I think sometimes that one of the guys who are famous for branding is Dan Antonelli, and one of the things he's famous for, I think, is that brand character that's sort of like a person or an animal or some sort that makes you like, oh, that's interesting. What is that? It's like something that's alive. Materials and parts and things like that are dead. They're not. But they don't have any life to it. The people bring it to life, I guess. But I think that's kind of like something that looks at us and has eyeballs and is interacting or smiling or whatever. It's sort of like the thing that kind of draws our eye to that. Would you agree?
I would agree. I totally agree. And I would tell everybody, Dan Antonelli's book, Branded Not Blanded, man, that's awesome. That is awesome. Everybody should get that. And then if they want to take the next step, should probably get a hold of Dan for some branding help. But there's real psychology in what we do. And this because of your training. There's psychology to our sales process. There's psychology in our marketing. And it needs to start with being that authentic, having content that people can relate to and connect with. That's paramount. And like I said, people in 2025, people don't want a stranger coming to their home.
So when you take on a client and you start working with them, how much work do you put into creating that kind of content or getting those kind of photos? Which, okay, you got the brand, which some probably you do some of that, but there's probably you turn it over to the experts who do that element of it. And then you try to make sure the brand is being emphasized with the guy who's wearing a uniform or the woman answering the phone or something that shows people, navigating the brand in a way. How much time do you spend? Is that something, a burden you put back on the contractor? Say, hey, you got to create that content for me, or is it something you orchestrate? Tell me about how deeply you work with the contractor on that.
Yeah, well, we work. That is front and center of what we do. It's project one, day one, when a dealer, garage door professional signs on with us, is we immediately discuss what kind of photos are needed, videos are needed. We actually do a full interview process. It takes hours to do, to get their story. I need to know, I need their bios, and we create that content. We create those bios that connect with people. And we don't just say, hey, this garage door company is experts in all brands of garage door openers, or we service and repair. That's way too objective. We want to get granular in that. Hey, we moved here 20 years ago. Our kids go to school here. I'm a scout leader here. My wife teaches school here. I coach the Little League baseball team. This is where people want to find out if you're somebody they can trust.
Mm-hmm.
Once we establish that, then we can talk about the exciting things like we service all brands, makes and brands and models. Okay. And so we do a deep dive in being able to put the message and the story out there. Now, the photos and videos, we largely rely on the contractor to get those, because we just want pictures taken with their cell phone. Today's cell phones, both iPhone and the space. Anyway, our phones are perfectly fine to take great pictures.
They have a lot
Wipe the lens.
clarity,
Wipe the lens off in the back and take pictures of your guys doing installs. Happy customers. Get a team photo in front of the truck. Now, I say that and I make it sound like it's easy. For some guys, it's just not easy, and we have to come out. My team and I have, on numerous occasions, we do what we call a media day, and we come out and we've hired local photographer talent. Sometimes we get a drone photographer out there. Most of the time we can just come out with our own team and our own equipment. We'll do a ride along. We'll go out to a couple of jobs. We'll film the guys doing work. We get a year. In one day we can get a year's worth of that photographic content. It's awesome.
Nice. I think it's obviously it's got to be a balance. Like there is some garage door in the thing. Like you got to tell it is a garage door business, but then you get the people. I guess probably one of the good ones would be like sort of like I'm just imagining here. I'm just using my imagination. Imagine this trifecta that you would create, sort of like a garage door that was a solution done. The technician, the branded uniform, looking joyful to serve, and the client, shaking hands or, looking happy that they got the service. So I'm just trying to imagine what that, am I off base on that, Rob? I just want to,
you're right.
You're
right. You know who's good at this though? Cody Johnson, the Johnson boys down in South Texas. They take their social media is full of them taking selfies with a happy customer. That customer is standing in front of their door or their opener and smiling, and these guys will do selfies. And so that they have fully got it, and it works. It works. They are a testimony that this authentic local feel works.
Another great friend of ours, Cody Johnson, is a great supporter of our show and our material, and you too. I know he's definitely has a great affection for what you're doing there too. What else can a contractor do, Rob, to break down that wall? And is it important, like whatever you're doing on there, to show those people and show the door and all that kind of thing, that it kind of pushes people toward the call to action too? I mean, have you ever seen it to where the call to action is weak, or you don't really even have a call to action? What do you think on that? Is like sometimes people say the thing looks good, but we're not getting any calls, right? Tell us about that.
Man, that is possibly the most overlooked aspect of any kind of marketing, whether it's a Facebook ad or a Facebook post or their website, whatever. They need a call to action, and the call to action can always be. It doesn't need to always be the same thing, but it can always be click below to find out more, or call us. Here's a phone number. Call us. We will answer the phone, or click below to message us. There needs to always be a call to action. People still need to be led to the next step. People need to know what the next step is in anything we do. And so it's that customer journey, and we have to help them on that customer journey. So they might look at or read what about your service or your location or your 24-hour service, whatever. when they're done reading that, they're left with, what do I do now? Where do I scroll now? So just have that call to action. That's so important.
And then, if you start looking at it, it is such a complicated job. I mean, it's although you make it sound really super simple at Legit5, and you and your team make it sound super simple, and it's kind of obvious once you tell people about this stuff. But then, even that, if you got those two things right, then the third thing is that, okay, how much information do I need to give, or what? I read a book called It's called Waymish, which is called "Why Are You Making It Hard to Do Business?"
Yeah.
So hard to do business. And sometimes it's like, even if you have those things right, then sometimes like you fill out a form that's too intrusive, or you don't get when you call, nobody answers or whatever. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, Rob. How do you keep your sanity? I guess is the question, right? Because isn't it
Yeah.
like, well, this is right and this is right. Oh, this is wrong. Here you got any one of those things can go wrong, can kind of destroy the opportunity that garage door professionals have, don't they? Don't tell me about that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. One of the things when we analyze sort of, okay, guys, there's a million steps to marketing, as we know, and at any one of those steps is, if it breaks down, then our end result, which is a lead or an appointment or closed sale, is impacted if we don't have all the steps lined up.
Mm.
And so I do have to kind of go, okay, what's your process? Who's answering the phone? How fast do we answer the phone? How fast do we call back? What do we do if we don't get on the phone? Um, and then I talk to you about, okay, so when you call a person and you're talking with them, what is our goal on the phone? Our goal should be to get an appointment. And so many times, this is something that I see a lot. So many times, the whoever's answering the phone wants or in person, they want the customer, to know how smart they are, to know how much experience they have. They feel like, oh, if I don't tell them how educated and certified I am, then they don't know to have confidence in me. And that is something that we talk about, is like, hey, less is more. Less is more. People will buy your confidence before they buy your competence.
Mm.
So we don't want to talk forever. We want to make sure that they know we have experience in this. We've seen it before. I can do this. Let me take a look, and I'll let you know. I mean, that's what people want to hear. They don't want 20 minutes of how long you've been in business, all of that. That can just be on the internet or on the website. But that is something we see, is people they want to over describe their story in life and give their
Mhm.
resume and their, just sort of their credentials. People already assume that much. They want to just know that you have confidence in yourself and can do the job.
That's interesting. The confidence, in a way, you got to display it in a confident way. That says the things we will do, or things that we can do, not the things that are just like generic. Here's what we have available. And it's like you got to have more of a direction or a firm. I think that confidence can be expressed in the verbiage in really short, directed phrases, rather than too much writing, I would say. Would you agree that like too much verbiage on a website can sometimes, like, oh, I got to read all that,
Oh
kind of
yeah.
a thing, right? Does that make
Oh
sense?
yeah. Yes. Then, and it goes back to what I just said, even on the website, less is more. They really only want, if they come to a website, they really only want to see a couple of things. People are not just looking for information about garage doors or plumbing anymore. They're not looking for a library of things to read. They want to know, are you in their area? Can you do their product or service? And can you do it today or tomorrow? So have that information on there, like 24-hour service or same day service available, if that's available. Um, make it easy for them to connect with you and do business. So in the upper right hand corner, just have a click to call and a big phone number in the upper right hand corner of the site. In
Hmm.
the middle of the page, have the opt-in right there. Don't make them click to go to where they opt in. Have a box right there on the homepage for them to put their name, address, phone number,
Just start
email
opting
address.
in. Don't click
Yeah,
the opt. Just start opting. You can opt right here if you want to book
yep,
here. Maybe a guy like that, right? Um,
exactly. Or
Rob,
the
I think
chat
one of the
widget.
things I'll go ahead and you can cut this if you want for a testimonial. But when I first met you, the first time I met you was just like, oh, there's a garage door marketing guy. But the second time, I think it was where I really got impressed because when I asked about your approach and what you guys do, you and Tanner and all the people over there at Legit5 Marketing, what I really got a sense of is that you care about your clients and that you're going to handle with care. I said just want to frame it better. I guess the best way to say what turns somebody off when they hire a marketing company is that we're not getting calls and we're not getting booked appointments. And I bring it to my marketing guy and they act like they don't care. Like they act like, well, it's just it's a numbers game, or they throw some kind of a justification for the bad results. I get the sense from you and your team that you really triage when there is a challenge that takes place. It's not what we do all the time. It's what we do when we face challenges. Tell us about how you and your team work when a client does face a challenge with their marketing, even after you've done maybe the service for them.
Yeah, man. There's, I guess my mind's cranking. There's a lot of experiences with that. We all love it. We always love it when things go right. We launch a program, we launch a campaign, we launch a new website, it hits the ground running, and someone's getting calls like crazy. Uh, but they're not always wins. There's not. In it's marketing and it's dealing with Google and the various algorithms and the various platforms out there. Sometimes things that are out of our control kind of can work against us, or sometimes just things don't work as fast or as well. Maybe it's based on competition. But I'll tell you what, we a marketing company needs to not own it. We don't have to accept responsibility for everything everyone does, but not everything is a win. And we need to be able to get a hold of that, make a plan to move forward to work around that. Um, but I hope that all of my people know that my focus is their success. My focus is honestly their success. I want everyone in the garage door industry to succeed, and really that expands beyond just the garage door industry. I started in sixth grade. My neighbor, who was a plumber, woke me up the week after school got out, after sixth grade. Woke me up at 7 in the morning, and I was ready to have a summer off, summer vacation. My mom came and got me out of bed. She said, hey, Dave's here. He wants you to go dig a sub rough, and I'm
Nice.
like, and that started my journey in home services. Dave,
Uh-huh.
we did a few new homes every week, few new homes every month. But he's a service and repair remodel plumber. And so as a sixth grade, that was my first legitimate job, is going out there and seeing how this worked. And I know the sacrifices we all make when we start a business, we start our home service business. It's a leap of faith. And I want everyone to know that I respect that. I respect your commitment. Most guys will make a commitment to a wife or parents or significant other that, hey, if you'll support me, if you'll go down this path with me, I promise to take care of you, or I'll take care of our family, or whatever. That is a serious thing to me. And so when somebody comes to me and says, I need leads, I need help, I don't take that lightly. That's not just a customer to me. That is me pulling my team together and going, all right, guys, this is what we've got. And we need to make sure that this company flourishes, and we need to fill schedules. Um, and I love that. It's a passion of mine. Just it is something I enjoy doing and seeing people get successful. And I love it when I get a text that says, hey, by the way, things are really picking up, or hey, by the way, my schedule is full for the next week. And in 10 years, I've never had that.
Mm.
I thrive and I love that. But what I love is seeing people finally enjoy the reason they started, enjoying their company, which is the reason they started that company. So my little weird motto is, the only person more interested and focused on your success than me is you, the owner. I bet I'm more interested in their success than anyone they know, because I want to see that.
It's like I think with contractors when they do start a business and they're hit with the stark reality that all right, I went through my friends and family now. It's like
Yeah.
that's done. We played those cards out. And now I need new people to call me that don't know who I am, and I need to be able to create a relationship with the community in a real way. And I think it's the pit that we get in our stomach as a service provider when nobody is calling us, and you see all the other trucks out there rolling on the street, and yours are just sitting in the driveway, or yours sitting in the parking lot, and there's a certain man, just like a fear of missing out, if you want to call it, or like
Oh, yeah.
man, and then you start asking, is everybody slow? Like you're hoping everybody's slow or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what do you do to emotionally support contractors? And I know with me, you and I have had a friendship where we support each other, and there's unconditional support, right? And that's why I keep
Yeah.
coming back to you. I think it's like, I feel like, it's just I get a good feeling every time I talk to you and your team, and I hope I provide something similar for you guys too, right? But how
Oh,
important is
that's
that?
absolutely true.
How important is that emotional support that you're able to do it in a way that kind of says that's okay. We're going to get this fixed, or we're gonna work on getting this fixed. Tell us about that, because some people come to you and they're negative when they do come to you with
Yeah.
either their starting point, or even when they're into it already and they can't figure out their marketing. How about that emotional support that you give, or the friendship you give people? I know that's just a big part. It's hard to explain that, right? Though, but tell us about that a little bit, because that's one of your superpowers, I think. If you know if you know that, but it is.
Well, thanks, Joe. I mean, around my house, around my family, I have told my boys, my sons, I have said, it's just a personal opinion, but as you grow through life, I think the value of our life is based in our relationships. So that's coming in high, and dialing it down to the some of that motivation or that psychology, because a lot of guys do come to me with sort of, hey, I've never been this slow before in my life and I need help. And there's worry and there's fear. And a couple of ways we go about that. One is I do there's a lot of hand holding or a lot of involvement. Guys don't sign on with us and then never hear from us again. There's a lot of upfront, hey, we're calling to let you know where you're at. We're calling to let you know how things are working. Hey, we launched this Facebook campaign or this next door campaign. You got 3 leads in the first 24 hours. Let's get on it. I mean, we have a lot of cheer fests with them. We have a lot of, hey, this is how it works. I do have a couple of programs that, within 24 hours of a campaign being launched, we have leads for them. That gets pretty exciting. And not a lot of marketing companies have that, that kind of that ability to go, okay, you've signed up. I need a couple of things from you, and we're going to have a next door campaign going, boom. And 24 hours later, they've got people to call. They love it. I
Mhm.
did have a plumbing friend of mine signed up
Mhm.
with us yesterday. So he's a friend of mine. So that's why I took on a plumber. It's not my normal course of
Yeah,
marketing
yeah,
for
yeah.
myself, but
Mhm.
he's with a big company. He's been with a big company for over 3 years. He has not heard from them ever, whether with except for an email that just says, "Hey, here's some Google updates in the market or in the industry." He's never heard from them since the first week he signed up. They did a little bit of an onboarding thing, and it's been gone. And he didn't know he didn't like it for one, but he didn't know that wasn't normal. And um, so we kind of had our first little discovery and strategy session a week ago, and then they've been able to call us and ask us questions, and we went right into their home to do their onboarding with them, because technology can leave a lot of people behind. So we went to help them with that, and they said they've already felt more concern for their success and their business flourishing than they got with that great big company that they have spent Well, they're spending $24,000 a year, and they've been with them for 3 years, and they haven't felt like they've got anybody interested in their success over there. So that's kind of a difference with us.
Yeah, I think it is. It's sort of like the emotional support is to be there when to maybe call to check in or call to visit. It is a challenge for a service provider like myself or even you. When we get a lot of clients, the more successful you are, the more challenging it is to stay connected,
For sure.
show you care by the time you're giving people to show that support. I think that's really what support means, right? It's like you're there when
Yeah.
people need you, or they're there before they need you, even to check base. Well, one thing I could tell, Robb Leishman has always been there for me before I need him. He definitely reminds me of our relationship. Every now and then, it's like not constantly, but enough to know that he's still alive and that we still are friends, and that makes me feel good. I just get every time I see your name, I smile. Because you can't say Leishman without smiling, Rob. You know that?
Right, Joe. Right, Joe.
You can't say your name without smiling. So
I've never
definitely,
thought about that, but yeah.
yeah, you can just that should be on your business card. Put that then you should be your tagline or whatever. You can't say, and we care more. I think that's really what the two things are. You can't say Leishman without smiling, and that Legit5 cares more. And I think that's really what I get from the people that I've heard that do business with you, the contractors that heard, and just what I've witnessed myself. And I have a BS meter that I can instantly tell whether they're trying to push their agenda or try to serve other people. And definitely, Rob, I get the impression in the just in your consistent character that you are here to serve. And thank you so much for the service you provide garage door companies, Rob. And any final words you want to give to garage door professionals out there, or any contractors? Sounds like you're venturing into a few little dipping your little finger into the plumbing business there or whatever. But
Yeah.
what kind of final thoughts can you give contractors out there who are working hard and grinding it out?
Well, man, one thing is Q4 is slated to be the best quarter of 2025 for home services. The economy is, we're seeing some pivoting. We're seeing in a few segments of the market, we're seeing calls coming up. So let's be excited and let's get ourselves polished. With regard to garage door companies, I think there's never been a better time in our history in America to be in the garage door service and repair industry. I think it's a perfect time, and you need to get your message out, and people will call, and if you can give them a world class or a blue ribbon service, they're going to call you time and time again. But I think everybody has reason to be very excited for the next 3 months and then the year following.
Good, good. Well, Rob, thank you for again your service to the industry, and thanks for your friendship. Definitely, you can't. That's not definitely not underrated. Definitely, I appreciate that.
You're awesome, Joe.
Every
Thank
day I
you.
wake up and I got to pinch myself that you're still a friend of me. So thank you so much
I'm sure.
about that. All right, Rob, thank you so much. We'll definitely see you on everybody here on the next podcast. If anybody here, I give you my personal recommendation to call Rob and his team at Legit5. You're going to find people who care, people who can see the obvious. That's what I've noticed when I have conversations with Rob. He sees the obvious thing where everybody's looking for all the coding or the in SEO and different keywords. He's like, here's the obvious thing. It's sitting right in front of us. Rob, thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening and watching the Service MVP podcast. I want to give you a copy of my free book. Just click on the link below in the description, and one will be sent to you from me personally. Thank you so much for listening.